Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name's Preston and today we're talking about the news. This should be a fairly quick episode. There was only a few cards released this week, so we will jump straight into our first card here. Wapple, red character, 6 cost, 6k power, Drum Kingdom. 1k counter, Dawn times 1, when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2k power for this turn. Then give this character plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Meaningful red card. It's pretty good. It's an on attack, so it's a little bit slower than it could be if we're thinking about it. Something that I'm starting to have to consider is removal is so good in this game, and that black has it, and multiple cards have decent removal. Black has really good removal, blue has good removal, and for the last 6 to 8 months, black and blue has been the best deck. So when you look at a card that has a when attack on its effect, you have to consider, do they find this card enough of a threat to kill it before it gets its activation? And regardless of this card being necessary, we have to consider that. With that consideration, there's a lot of cards that aren't good, and when attacking cards all are going to fall into that. But without consideration of this card immediately being targeted, I think it's pretty good. A minus 2,000 to your opponents for their turn, right? For this turn, and then gaining 2,000 power until the end. So he's going to be 8k waiting to restand. That's pretty good if it can stay on the board long enough to activate. In general, I don't like the minus power stuff that red does, because everything in every other color is better, and red just doesn't get the play time that it used to. But overall, I think this is a great effect for Wapple, and whether or not it will see play will be completely dependent on the rest of the Drum Kingdom stuff. Is this archetype going to be good enough to stand up against our meta decks? And I'm guessing it's not. But we can move on to our next card, and as long as all of you guys agree to cry with me, I think it will be okay. Thank You for Loving Me. Blue event, 1 cost, Whitebeard Pirates. Main. If your leader type includes Whitebeard Pirates in it, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with Whitebeard Pirates included in its type, or Monkey D. Luffy, and put it into your hand. Then place the rest of the cards on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. Trigger, draw 1 card. So this is a blue searching event for Whitebeard Pirates or Luffy, and we have Izo that will go into this deck. We could have a red 1 cost event and a blue 1 cost event. I don't know which ones. Izo most likely gets played in this Marco deck. It's the most effective, giving you a character on board. But one of the 2 events just depends on whether or not you need it. Sometimes and often I've seen that you don't need the event cards that search, but sometimes you do, and it's a blue trigger, draw 1, so who knows what will happen with that. We know Nami loves trigger draw 1 cards, and everyone freaks out when there's anything that has draw 1 card in its trigger, but I feel like there's better options even for Nami. We won't have to worry about it, especially with it being super dead in hand otherwise. Yeah, it's a great moment in the anime. It's a blue searcher for Whitebeard Pirates. I would like to see where else this card could be played. Maybe in one of the 3 Brothers decks or something. Moving on. Dr. Hiralook. Red character, 3 cost, 0 power, Drum Kingdom. Activate main. You may rest this character. If your leader is Tony Chopper, give all of your Tony Chopper characters plus 2,000 power for the rest of the turn. That's pretty cool. 2k counter, so especially in this Drum Kingdom deck, you're playing it. If this is what the Chopper leader is gonna be, you just flood the board with choppers and you activate this. That might be interesting because we have the chopper that boost animal. We have a bunch of interesting little things that might be creating the new weenie deck. Weenie decks being a lot of low cost characters that can do damage. So Zoro played weenies early on because it could boost everybody enough to make everybody lethal. So if that's what this is, where you can just play some choppers and then attack with a lot of little choppers, that might be interesting. Overall, is this card good? It could be. I don't know. I don't know. This archetype I've been shitting on for the last like 2 months or whatever. So I can't say that I'm a fan yet. But does this give this something? It gives it a play. It gives it a very interesting play. It will just have to depend on if the animal side that is searching and moving and stuff like that can incorporate this to make it worth it. Because there's the animal side where you're going to be trying to search for animal cards and there's only so many of those. And then there's going to be the Tony Chopper side that you're going to try to be boosting choppers. And I don't know. It is a good Drum Kingdom card, being 2k counter and then also having a good effect. Yeah, I think it sees play in that deck if that deck is playable. Moving on, we have Charlotte Pudding, purple character, 3 cost, 4k power, Big Mom Pirates, 1k counter. During your turn, once per turn, when your Dawn is returned to your Dawn deck, set up to one of your Dawn from your Dawn deck onto your field rested. So this card came in a midweek video officially from their official YouTube. So I will see if I can find it and link it in the description. This is like the Eustace Kid that does the same effect, but it brings it back active. So instead of having to play that, you could play this. I would assume you play both because there's a lot of minusing in purple. You might as well try to get a rested and an active back. At an earlier turn, you'll be able to get a little bit more benefit from your minuses, which is good. I think that we have another card that fits well in multiple decks. And I don't know where it fits in every deck, but there are quite a few purple decks that I think are going to be doing well in the next format, and this will find its way into a few of them. I don't know the red-purple law deck well enough to know if this fits in it because it has that good effect, or if they would just cut it for other things and leave, like, if they are playing Eustace, I don't think they would also need to play this as a second option. But I could be wrong. I'm not quite sure. But other purple decks, this Pudding deck might be playing it just because it's searchable. But yeah, having a second option for this doesn't always suck. Having a better option in the Kid is great. So I like it. I love what purple is doing right now. I think it has a lot more potential than it has had since the first set. The first set it had a ton of potential and then it fell off pretty hard. And now the cards that they're printing right now are really trying to make purple relevant. And just giving them more things like this keep it there, and it makes it have the potential of actually being relevant. Moving on. Jewelry Bonnie, yellow character, 3 cost, 4k power, Egghead, Bonnie Pirates, 1k counter. Dawn ×1 on your turn, once per turn. When your opponent loses a life, draw 2 cards and discard 1 card from your hand. Trigger, draw 2 cards and discard 1 card from your hand. That's pretty great. I like it. I like it a lot. It doesn't speculate. It doesn't specify how they lose a life. So any way they lose a life, you're drawing 2 and discarding 1, and I love that. Actually, pretty great effect. Love to see it be triggered with any of your other effects that rip life out. But generally, just getting this on board and then attacking and being able to draw really forces your opponent to think about how they want to respond, because you're going to be getting so many card advantages from this. And finding the best time to play this card, since it's a 3 cost, is going to be super important, so you get the best opportunity to actually use its effect. Again, going back all the way back to the beginning when I said there's a lot of removal in this game, and the removal is really good. So looking at a 3 cost and a 4k power, this card is very removable. So we have to remember to play it when it's necessary. And other than that, I think it's a great card. Moving on to our secrets. We got secrets this week, and that's super cool. Not only did we get secrets, but this is, I believe, the alt art of the secret. So we got the alt art first. And the art's great. I believe it is a Toei animation frame from Onigashima. Alright, here it is. Kaido and Lin, purple character, 10 cost, 12k power. 4 Emperor's Animal Kingdom Pirates, Big Mom Pirates. When attacking, don -10, KO all other characters. Then put up to 1 card from the top of your deck on your life pile. Then trash up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life pile. So if we look back at our Big Mom and our Big Kaido, this does both, but it does it worse because it's when attacking. Reflecting back just to the last card, to the Bonnie. It's easy to remove things. How do we remove 10 cost cards or 12k power cards? Figure it out. Every deck should be able to counter this in some way. It's slower because it's an on attack. The Kaido does it on play. The Big Mom does it on play. This does it when attacking. It does a lot when attacking. And we know that we are being able to start the next turn with a possibly trying to get a Black Maria on board and getting up to 8 Dawn so that you can do it again. And that's the thing that makes it scary. If you're able to hit it and you're able to ramp back to 10 and hit it again, it's devastating. If you are forcing your opponent to deal with it and they just don't have it, being able to rip a life on attack is going to be disgusting. You just have to be able to ramp back to it again. So having multiple Black Marias and then your turn giving you 2, every other turn you're hitting this, it's disgusting. Now, I don't think it's going to stay on board long enough to hit once. I think your opponents will be able to take this card out because it's on attack. But the potential is huge. I would rather play the Kaido or the Big Mom separately for the immediate effect when possible. Yeah, that's it. Let's move on to our last one, and a card I was pretty excited to see in this set. Silver's Rayleigh, red character, 8 cost, 8k power, former Roger Pirates. On play, choose up to 2 of your opponent's characters. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, give 1 character -3k power and the other -2k power. After this, K up to 1 of your opponent's characters with power of 3k or less. Super excited that we're getting Roger Pirates. Super sad that this feels underwhelming to me. And it might not be. It might be just fine where it's at. But I feel like Ace in set 2 did this, and it kind of did it better because it gained Rush. Didn't KO, right? I don't think it KOs, but it minuses power to 2 characters and then rushes. This minuses 3k and a 2k, and then just KOs a 3k. and it's 8 cost. It again could be KO'd before it gets to even have a decent amount of effect by attacking, but it's on play, so it gets to immediately KO a 3k. So you can hit 6k, 6 and 5ks or lower, immediately get KO'd. And red cards also, so if there's any other 2 cost KO card, you can hit the 5k as well. Or if there's other minus powers that fit into like on attack or on play or anything, that you can also combo into a KO. So you can have anything that costs 2 that you could possibly KO with as well, to gain some more value to get both of those characters gone. The power minus does last until the end of your opponent's next turn. So if you KO something else, they're going to have 2 cards on their board that are weaker than they used to be, that they're going to not want to attack with, which leaves them active. But it's tough. And I think that this card is going to be tough to play, but if we can find the right pacing for it, I think it could be good. But right now, I feel like most things red, we're finding a weird spot where it just doesn't feel as good as what's already out, and isn't as good as it could be. But I've really just been talking way too much, and I think that you guys should go out and play a tournament. EV-01 is out, and there's a lot of release tournaments going on right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to get more One Piece TCG content, hit that subscribe. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Until next time, peace.